Hello everyone, I am your psychology buddy here to make psychology easy and interesting for you all. If you enjoy my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss out. And if you face any kind of difficulty, write in the comment box, I will try to solve it. So today we are going to start concrete operational stage. This stage is between age 7 to 11. At this stage, children begin to think logically about concrete, tangible things. Their thinking becomes more organized and rational, but they still struggle with abstract or hypothetical concept. I mean, they could think about things that they can see in front of them, like the concrete things, like objects like paper, pencil, books, and all that. But when you ask them about a hypothesis or about something abstract, like any rules or anything that's social, moral, or anything, the concept that they struggle with those concepts. So let us now study the points. First is conservation. Understanding that the amount or quantity of something stays the same even when its appearance changes. A child knows that water poured from a short wide glass into a tall narrow glass is still the same amount of water. Like here is a short narrow glass and here is a short wide glass and here is a tall narrow glass. So water poured from this to this is the same amount. In this concrete operational stage they could understand this difference, but before this there was pre-operational stage where the children could not sort out this conservation, and they used to tell that the water in this tall narrow glass is more than the short wide glass. They used to think about one perspective of the object. They do not think about the other perspective of the object, so they used to face this kind of problem. But in concrete operational stage they decentralize, they could take different perspective. The child now is capable of focusing on other perspective of the object and they could reach to a conclusion. So the second is logical thinking about concrete objects. Children can apply logic to physical object or experience they can see or manipulate. Solving math problems using counters or understanding that 4 apples are more than 2 apples. The things which they can see or experience, they could manipulate those things. Like here they could say that 4 apples are more than 2 apples. It's very simple. The third point is classification, the ability to sort objects into groups based on common characteristic. Grouping animals into mammals, birds, reptiles, or sorting toy cars by color or size. I am giving you another example. Like babies in pre-operational stage, if you give 30 roses to a baby and ask him or her that which is more, is the flower is more or the roses are more, then the baby will always say that roses are more, because they could not understand that roses fall under the category of the flower only. But in concrete operational stage the children could learn that the roses are a category of flower only, so they will always say that the flowers are more because roses fall under flowers only. The fourth point is seriation, the ability to arrange objects in a specific order based on characteristic like size, weight, or number. Example, lining up sticks from shortest to longest. Like here is a small stick, then a more bigger than this. They could sort. Earlier they can't sort like this, but now they could sort sticks like this, or from lighter object to heavier object they could sort all these things now. Reversibility, understanding that actions or process can be reversed to return to the original state. Example, knowing that 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 and 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. I am giving you another example. Suppose, take that example only. Suppose here is a small wide glass and here is a tall narrow glass, and water is poured from this glass to this glass, and now the children could reverse the actions in their mind to see that the water is same in this glass and this glass. So this next point is decentration, The ability to focus on multiple aspects of a situation at the same time. Example, when judging a cake, a child considers both height and width, not just one factor. Yeah, I am giving you another example, this example only, that earlier the children used to take only the height of the glass, but now they take the width also. So they could say that this is wide and this is narrow, so they could say that both the glass have the same amount of water. Spatial reasoning, this is the most important point in this concrete operational stage. So what happens in spatial reasoning? Understanding of distance and direction. They begin to grasp concepts like left and right, near versus far, and can follow and give directions more accurately. Another development is that they could identify the left and right of other person or object different from their own right and left directions. Is perspective taking. Children realize that different people may see things from different viewpoints. This supports both spatial and social development. Let me give you an example. Suppose here is a tree and here is a house. Okay. So, and here is a man standing and here is a child standing. For the man, the house is nearer, and for the child, the tree is nearer. Okay. So, earlier before this concrete operational stage, if you ask the child what is nearer, then he will definitely, if you ask the child what the man sees nearer to him or about the man's perspective, he would surely have to tell that tree is nearer to him, because he could only see his perspective, not other perspective. But now if you ask a child which is nearer to the man, then he will definitely say that the hut or the house is nearer to the man, because he could now think about other viewpoints or other perspective. Then maps and models. They can understand and use simple maps, diagrams or models to represent space, finding a route or locating objects. Then conservation of space and area. They start to understand that rearranging objects does not change the amount of space or area they take up. Like a flower vase kept on a dining table takes the same space if it is kept on another side of the room, or like on a study table, it takes the same space. They now understand this concept. Now the formal operational stage, that starts from age 2 and up. In this stage, adolescent and adult develop the ability to think abstractly, logically and hypothetically. They can reason about ideas that are not tied to concrete reality. The thing is that they could have an abstract thinking, like the things which are not present in front of them or which they have never seen, they could think of that objects also. So, the first point is abstract thinking. The ability to think about concepts and ideas that are not physically present. Understanding ideas like justice, freedom or love. The thing is that we can't see that justice, freedom or love through our naked eyes, but we can think about all these things. No. And all these things or all this abstract thinking develops in this period, the formal operational stage period. And after that, there is hypothetical deductive reasoning, the ability to form hypothesis and logically deduce outcome. Let's learn about the pendulum problem Piaget talks. So in this problem, a child is given a pendulum, means a teenager is given a pendulum with a string and a weight. They are asked what determines how fast the pendulum swings. And the variables were the length of the string, the weight of the object, how high the object is lifted, force of the push. They use hypothetical deductive reasoning for forming a hypothesis and systematically testing one variable at a time. These are the hypotheses, these variables, and they are forming a hypothesis, and then they are just testing which variable is affecting the swing of the pendulum. Okay, so the teenagers say that I think the length of the string affects the speed. Yeah, it's absolutely correct. They test different strings length and while keeping everything else the same. They then test weight, height and push separately to isolate the effect of each. Then they came to a conclusion that only the length of the string affect how fast the pendulum swings. Problem solving in a systematic in this period, there is a problem solving in a systematic way. Teens can think through multiple steps and test different solutions to solve complex problem. Example, solving a science experiment by testing one variable at a time. Like in this pendulum problem, they are testing one variable at a time, then they are getting a conclusion, they are forming a hypothesis, and then they are concluding that only the length of the string is responsible for how fast the pendulum swings. Then it's cognitive distortion. Teens may believe that they are the center of others' attentions or that their experiences are unique. What happens in this period is that the teenagers could think abstractly, and also coupled with their physical changes gives rise to a different kind of egocentrism, which is also known as adolescent egocentrism. So the adolescent may develop a cognitive distortion. As a result, they imagine that they are on the stage and everybody is watching them. That led him to think that they are the center of attention to some imaginary audience. That's not a reality. They just think in their mind. And this results in their becoming highly self-conscious of their actions and going to great length to avoid embarrassment. Okay. For example, a teenager feels embarrassed because they think everyone is staring at them. It's not reality. It's an imagination of their mind that everybody is seeing them, so they should be very neat and clean or something, like they should be like very good in their act and all that. It all goes inside their mind, not in reality. So, and the next is this future planning and logical reasoning. The ability to plan ahead and reason through long-term consequences. Attain things, if I don't study now, I might not get into a good college or into a college. So now they could plan future. In earlier stages, the child or the baby could not plan about their future, but the adolescents start planning about their future. Like we know I am an adolescent, I am planning about my future. You are an adolescent, you are planning about your future, and everybody is planning about one's future. And this planning develops and this in this formal operational stage only. Okay. And after that, thinking about moral, political and social issues, abstract thoughts allow deeper reflection on ethics, identity and society. Example, debating whether a law is fair or unjust based on principles rather than personal experience. Okay, so as the abstract thinking grows, the teenagers or adolescents of this age could think abstractly, so they could just know about the ideals of the society, ethnic group, race and everything, and they could just debate whether a law is fair or unjust based on the principles. In this stage, now the teenagers can think that rules and laws might exist for the good of the greatest number, but there are times that will not work against the interest of particular individual. That means rules are always not favorable for individuals. Sometimes they might be unfavorable for an individual, and thus the rules are always not clear cut out. All these things, all this abstract thinking, all this critical thinking developed in this stage. Okay, so the video ends here.